Well, we're going to talk about the 2-year-olds now. It's been a slow week. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk and a lot of work leading up to right now. Right, we had our first batch of qualifiers in Ontario. Went 6 for 6. You were there on Friday, and I was curious because James never says anything overly nice about many of the horses to me. It's always most reserved
you guys
way.
are on the opposite ends of the spectrum.
He told me that yesterday.
When she was coming back, I said, Anthony wants to pay her into the British Crown, and James will say she's a condition claimer. There's no in between.
Yeah, so James says he thinks the worst of every horse until they prove him wrong.
And I said the same thing to you the other day.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's a terrible way to live.
Well, it is. It is. Thinking that way, it just ensures you're never let down.
Yes.
For the most part. But who wants to live that way? I mean, the whole industry is built, life in general is built on hopes and dreams, and then, the reality is many of them don't come true, but it just seems a little silly, to start out with that, oh, he's okay, I guess, kind of way of being. It's just, and James isn't like that. He's just tricked himself into thinking he's like that. So, what did he say about Blue Rare when he came back? I was curious. He didn't say much.
He didn't say much. He said she was good and her equipment was perfect. And
because he didn't pick Blake's horse, and I didn't try and convince him any other way. I just told him, I said, here, I'm going to tell you everything that has happened. No optimism involved. I'm just going to tell you everything that has happened training down with this filly, and then you decide what you want to do. Because I told him too, I said, and you're going to have to tell me right now, because in 9 minutes I'm at the Ohio Turnpike, and I literally will just keep going straight right to Ontario and drive her myself if you don't go there. Well, that's kind of stupid. I said, I don't want to watch her make a break on somebody tomorrow when I could have been there. I said, so if you don't want to go there, that's fine. I'm not trying to change your mind. But in now 8 minutes, I am going to go to Ontario rather than back to Brunswick. So did that play a role? Probably, I suppose. But he could have driven the other filly. But, in typical James form, he sat, and then she was really airborne right at the wire. So I was more concerned. I wanted to get an idea of what he thought about the last 16th. Did he talk much about her at all after? Or did he just hang the lines up and walk away?
No, he didn't. It was kind of like we had Dune right next, so we were just trying to do all that. But he said she was good and perfectly hung up and trotted perfect.
Oh, that's a good start, because I'd be way more optimistic right now. It's not that I'm deflated. I thought the filly was tremendous. If you'd have said, hey, does that qualifier make you happy? The answer would have been emphatically yes, until I watched a couple of the other fillies go.
Yeah, but you don't know how much those ones have already been.
Yes, actually I do know. Okay. That's why I wasn't upset. So, I know that Blake had been a lot more with his trotters. They were a lot more ready to go than the first fast mile that Blue Rare ever saw was last week when I trained her in 2-1. She never beat 2-7 before that. Yeah,
but she also went to a much bigger track. She also never been there before.
Yeah, 100%.
And all the other horses go in school and train there first. So considering all of those
and she shipped
factors,
in the night before. She literally got to Ontario at 8 o'clock at night.
I was worried she was going to spook at something.
Nah, she's pretty cool that way. But I do know that a lot of the other horses have been training harder, and I wasn't that concerned. Even if we don't race her in the Tompkin gears, even if we're careful with her for the first little bit, she is eligible to everything. And I think she could be a very, very good filly, but she still has to prove it. So I was really, really happy with the way she looked yesterday in Ontario. I'm glad that James liked her. Who's the other one? He didn't go with the other pacing filly. So we're going to start with 2-year-olds. ACDC, we were training him hard, and he just didn't feel like he was advancing the way I wanted to see him speed-wise. Now, since then, we've done his knees, given him a week and a half or 2 weeks of just light training, trained him back 2:11 in the jog cart at 1.5 miles. He's pretty well ready to go. We'll likely school him. I don't know who we're going to have in next Thursday to race. We might put a couple of horses into qualify also. That'd be like the 12th, and then come back 10 days later with a second qualifier. That really wouldn't be the end of the world either for a lot of those horses. The 22nd would be 10 days after that, right? The Tuesday is the Meadows. They do qualify on Thursday. Now, I don't know how many horses I'm going to have to race at the Meadows on Thursday. So we'll see. I'm not really in a big hurry. As I said to Amy, the first 2-year-old Pennsylvania Stallion or Sire Stake race is July the 26th. That's the first one. The very first one of the year. So there's no rush to have them ready. But AC/DC's probably ready to go mile in 2.2, 2.3 right now, pretty easy. But he still has a long way to go. We're talking about Pennsylvania, right? Aunt Sarah, she's one fast training mile away from being ready to rock. She's been in 2.2, 2.3. She only needs one more. She would be, it's funny because one of our clients who we talk to all the time had messaged me today and said, who is the also eligible on the fillies side of the next generation? And I said, well, Aunt Sarah would have to be on that list. There's a couple of horses on that list. Aunt Sarah's definitely in the mix, and a couple other ones are. But right now, Tomboy Strong is the leader. So the big question is, we're gearing up Tomboy Strong to be that filly. How do we ensure that we have another horse waiting there and ready, every bit as ready? And that's a great question. I think we'll probably train Aunt Sarah in 2 minutes this week, and then have a look and see kind of how Tomboy Strong is progressing. Qualify Aunt Sarah maybe even the week after at the Meadows, and then at that point they're both virtually at the same point. You're going to see Tomboy Strong race at Scioto or the Meadows, or her first lifetime start, much like we did with Aunt Sarah, or Aunt Lily last year. Yeah, Aunt Lily last year.
I'm telling her no.
Ava, go away. It's ridiculous.
I think I was cooler than that when I was 14.
Oh, I'm sure you were, yeah. Walking around with your overalls on and your...
My overalls? Windbreaker, maybe.
A windbreaker?
Matching top and bottom.
Matching top
from
and bottom.
Northern Getaway.
Yeah, so Aunt Sarah, yes. Bianco Spiaggio. I haven't talked to Harry yet, but I know he's ready to start back soon. Just a matter of an ultrasound and away you go. But he did have a curb. I want to ask, remind me to message Harry right after this. I need to ask him about that curb, see if it's been crowded yet. Then we were going to talk about Blue Rare. We've already talked about her. Capistrano Nights. Just gave her a week off. She looked a little off behind, and Dr. Tessa thought it was a stifle. It's never. It's usually never a stifle with a 2-year-old pacer at this time of year. But she might have got cashed. Something that might have bothered her. It could be a million things like that. I'm not too worried about it. I just told him to jog her up the other day and then turn her out in the field. Did you ask Jason if she did go out? Did you ask him that?
I asked him those 3 things, but he didn't really answer.
Yeah. Okay. Captain Doolittle's ready to go. He's going to be qualifying Tuesday at the Meadows. Cherry's Girl is also going to be qualifying Tuesday at the Meadows. Both of those horses are doing well. Captain Doolittle has really surprised me the last little while. Now you've gone with them a lot. Oh, doo-doo. What are you looking at? What is the problem here? Pull the handle like it says.
No, that was it.
Just leave it alone then. Good thing these kids don't have Rubik's Cubes. Where are we at? Captain Doolittle has been training.
She could have done it if she could find the Wi-Fi password.
Yeah. Why don't you ask her? Just go on TikTok and see if they show you how to fold that chair up. So Captain Doolittle, he's ready to go. He'll go on Tuesday. He was actually an add-on because we scratched a couple of horses. I told you that Leland Hanover popped 2 splints.
No.
Yeah, he popped 2 splints training the other day. I was so happy to see that because he couldn't figure out where those wrinkles were coming from. You'd see them every so often in his gait. Now I know.
Somebody else did.
Popped a splint?
I told you before I left.
I don't think so. Just Leland.
Lily girl?
I don't think so. That's what I saw. Well, we'll have a look again tonight. Cherry's Girl is ready to go also. Very happy with the way this filly looked the other day. Training 2-1, last half 58. She looked really, really good. Degas, mild temperature the last 2 days. A mild temperature the last 2 days is cool. Tell me automatic shutdown. 102.1 yesterday, but had some butte and jog great after, just light. Today is Saturday, 101.4. Ate her breakfast and everything, but still hit a mild temperature. Jogged light again today. We're going to keep a close eye on this. I don't have much interest in shipping her over to Pennsylvania on Monday if she's not ready to go. And if these temperatures persist, we'll watch her again tonight. If they persist, then she won't. Well, I'll put it this way. If she's any sort of temperature or even looks remotely dull on Monday, she is not going to Pennsylvania. And that will be that. What are we doing here? Why is this thing kicking me out? I asked Eric to fix this. He said he did, but he did not. So we're all the way to Degas at 10 minutes. It's turned into a bit of a slow one. Diosa Della Donza, were you there? You weren't there the other day, but I told you how good she was. Oh, she was vicious good. She's going to qualify Tuesday morning at the Meadows. Don't ask again. They said she passed 2 horses training the other day.
Whoa.
Yeah, she's having a big run.
Who she passed?
I don't know.
Upsetting.
I don't know who she passed. It's not that she's
Hopefully
slow.
it wasn't one of ours.
She's not that she's slow. It's that she's never really shown that grit.
Doesn't care.
Right, but Cherry's girl was the same way until she wasn't. So I'm hoping that the next shoe drops in respect to that filly. Why is my iPad almost dead? It's ridiculous.
Dropped 2% in 1 second.
Yeah, like, well, what is that
8.
thing doing? Dune. I don't think he could look more impressive than he did. I had people messaging me from all over yesterday saying, hey, geez, that Michigan filly looked good. Wow, what a nice filly that is. And the only ones upset were you and James. James was upset because...
Me? I wasn't upset.
Well, because she was only staked in Michigan. So we'll see. But right now, just a nice filly, and we're lucky to have her. Emerald Tom is doing his work well, training 2, I think, last week. What did that say?
She wanted to let me know that Chaotic ate all of his lunch and he ate 2 cans.
See? He's starting to feel good now, that horse. That's a big deal. Big deal for that horse. So Emerald Tom is doing his work well. I was going to go with him today, but the front track closed because they were working on it for the Battle of Lake Erie tonight. So I didn't jog him. I'll jog him on Monday before we go anywhere or do anything with him. Go Strong Hanover, schooled in 2-3 last half, 58. I expect a 2-minute 2-1 qualifier from him on Tuesday morning. I like the colt a lot. I think he's got a lot of things to offer. Just has to do it. Had to know. Looked great again training the other day. 2:12 at a 1.5 miles. He's probably ready to go 1:02, 2:1 in the race bike. We're going to have to deal. I've seen horses like him. We're going to have to deal with quarter cracks throughout the summer. They're going to happen. It's going to take 5 days to have them completely healed up and ready to go again. But I just know that we've put him on these supplements. We've worked on him. We have special shoes on him, and every so often you'll just see one pop. You'll see a little trickle of blood come down, and it's much like a hangnail or whatnot, and we're just going to have to deal with it. I'm going to have to come to grips with that's what's going to have to happen. Now, that doesn't mean we stop with the supplements. It doesn't mean we stop with the protective shoeing. Of course we're going to, but we just have to recognize that when we see it happening, it is going to happen, and we have to be as diligent and as aggressive as we can with it to make sure that when we reach that 5-day limit, he is ready to go again. Hanger 1. Nick said he was going down. Nick has a horse in the Battle of Lake Erie tonight, so it's hard for me to be too upset. But Nick is going to build those feet up and fix those feet on Hanger 1. He's a Fearless Peter. Made a break the other day. I was a little torn, right? Does he need hobbles? Because when I went with him, you couldn't knock him off stride. You could not knock that horse off stride. But I've seen him make breaks twice now in the last month. So I won't hesitate to put the hobbles on him.
Put it this way. What are the chances that all our horses are not going to be in together and you're going to always be able to go with them? Because if that's not the case, then maybe just put them on. 5
trotting colts right now, I think. There's likely to be 4 or 5 divisions every time we go somewhere. So we should be. And they're not all Sire State colts, right? So you're probably going to have 3 Sire State, 2 or 3 Buckeyes. We'll be fine. Highest Honors was good the other day. I expect to go a mile 57 or 58 with him on Tuesday. In New York, I'm debating when do we have this guy ready. I said to Eric we could almost race him in that fair on the 18th. The fair is at Oak Grove on the 18th.
Oh, I didn't know it was there.
Yeah, it is at Oak Grove. So Eric knows that we can get the stalls after the fair, but if we're racing horses at the fair, I wonder if they can open those up just a couple of days earlier so we can sneak in there. I have it in my mind that Degala is racing it. It's 5 days before the first stake race, which you would train them hard 5 days out anyway, and I can't imagine that people are going to go there and race in the fair just to race. Now, maybe Verlin will, maybe a couple of the Ohio guys, or Kentucky guys will, but I don't think you're going to see Tony Alania's horse there, and other people's horse there. I could be wrong, but I don't see it. So, is in New York one that's going to be ready to go for there? I don't know. I've been in 2-5 with him twice, but can he trot in 59? I don't know. I don't know yet. Jailbird Jog is going to qualify on Tuesday morning. And I'm going to tell everybody right now, if I can just go very easy with her, like just stay along the rail, not get her too excited, not empty her out, not let her trot all she can, I think it would go a long way. I know she's super fast, but she doesn't need to prove it on Tuesday. What I would like to see is drop her into the 3, 4, 5 hole, just stay there whole way and let her trot the last 100 yards. That's what I would like to do with Jailbird Jog. The way I see it, she's a 600-pound filly that can't go wide open all summer. Right? But she's smart at the gate. She let me take her off the gate both times she saw the gate. She follows a helmet very quietly. It's when you start to edge her off that helmet, then it's game on. And I just need
to pick your spots where you're going to do that.
Exactly. So I don't think Tuesday morning is a necessity, but we'll see. That sounds easier. She isn't a car. I can't just leave her in third gear and drive around in third gear. If she wants to get at it, then don't break rule number 1. That is rule number 1. Joe J. Fotag's going to be a little late to the party, another week or so with her as we clean up her knees were just a little sore. They're bothering her a little bit. We'll see how she behaves this week and the next over Northfield Park, but I suspect she's going to need another week or 2. Jolene Hall doesn't. She'll be ready to go. A lot of these horses will qualify first and then go again on the 22nd because they do have 2-year-old races starting right now. They're carded and filled for next week at the Meadows. They will be carded for the week after at Northfield Park, but that doesn't mean we have to have a bunch of horses ready for them either.
Definitely not your PA breds.
No, the Pacers anyway. The Trotters go a little earlier. Judy's Money actually hit her knee. Her knee blew up the other day, but she cut it. Thank God she cut it because it didn't blow up too bad, but it did blow up a little bit. So she's going to need another week, but she has lots of time anyway. There's no rush with her. Leland Hanover, those 2 splints will be crowd on Monday. We'll likely... Monday... No, like I said, there's no rush. We'll have him ready in the next 2 weeks at some point. He's ready to go right now. He's been in 2-2. Lifting Legend, 2-4 and 2 last quarter, 28 and 2 in his qualifier. He was very good. Lifetime mark. Our first winner... No. Didn't we win with... Oh, Dune. Dune was our first 2-year-old winner this year, at least in a qualifier. Lifting Legend was a winner. Was he the only one? What about the colt? Simply Caddock? No. Who was the other? No, the other colt was third. So we had 2 winners. We had Dune on Friday and Lifting Legend on Saturday. Love Sensation I want to train this week. We changed her shoes, took the flip-flops off her, put a longer shoe on her behind. She was just kind of slapping on her shins a little bit. I want to see how she trains this week, and I'll be going with her myself, likely Wednesday, I guess. Megan's Lucky Day. Her blood did not come back bad. She was exhausted on Wednesday. Trained okay, but was really, really tired. I think maybe she might have just been in a little bit of heat also. So her blood didn't come back bad, but I saw her after she trained. She was tired. Millie Girl did tie up. AST was 1,700 the other day. I told you when I trained her in 59 that day, she was a little crampy. Her tail popped up. Remember I asked you if she'd ever did that before? Mm-hmm. So she won't be going on Tuesday. She'll go the following Tuesday. I believe My Name is Wayne is in to qualify on Tuesday. I expect a mile and 59 or 2 minutes at Wayne for sure. Neuromancer I sent back to Ontario. I just wanted to let him finish off his training on a bigger track. You know, he's seen Northfield enough. He gets a little out of gear going into the turns. He gets a little out of gear. And all of this is all the while, he's never going to see a half-mile track again. He's a Kentucky-bred horse. There's no need for him to be worrying about stressing out and training at Northfield because he's never going to race on a half. So let's stretch him out at Mohawk and see how he is.
Can you take that window bar off of him?
Yeah, well, it wasn't a window bar. It was a mushroom bar. It was just because of that crack. But yeah, they can put whatever they want on.
What about behind?
I don't care. I put a longer shoe on him behind. He should... I know I have aluminums on him. Yeah. He was trotting terrible with them on. I wouldn't leave them on. Perfection Hanover, trained in 59 already. Probably ready to go a mile in 57, 58. I'm not sure if we put him in to qualify on Tuesday or not, but he's ready to go at any time. Perfect Thought is in to go Tuesday. She was absolutely fantastic in training last week, schooling off the gate. Really looking forward to qualifying her on Tuesday. Pretty Eyes and Lies is in to qualify on Tuesday. Are you not coming Tuesday? You said you didn't know. We got to talk about that today. Pretty Eyes and Lies is in to qualify on Tuesday. I trained her the other day. She was a little flat.
You said they didn't have to be ready till July 20th.
But she's not a 2-year-old pacing colt.
Okay, well, when does she have to be ready?
July 2nd. Yeah. So she's going to qualify.
I thought you said she was a little...
She was a little, huh? But she might qualify once or twice anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Rico Tubbs probably should go mile 59 on Tuesday. He won a mile 2-1 twice now. Riding the rodeo, 2 minutes last quarter, 27 seconds. I think her line was good, and I think she actually looked good to me. She looked like she was really pacing at the wire. I know Billy said, she was a little flat. But they were coming 27 seconds. You know, what did he expect her to do? I thought she was rather good. Rose Run Bobby, we changed her shoes again. I'll probably train her Wednesday, I think, at Northfield. Royal Duchess, we put the flip-flops on her for a week. Just going to jog her and train her light with flip-flops on. We had her tipped out. I just think they're bothering her knees and her ankles were getting a little bit sore. So we're going to go easy with her for the next week. Otherwise, she was fine. Royal Flush Dio trained good the other day. I believe he is into Qualify Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. If he's not, then he'll be into Qualify shortly thereafter. But I actually do believe he is into Qualify on Tuesday. I should go over the list when I get in the house. Simply Chaotic, fastest last quarter of any 2-year-old trotter in Canada this year so far. 26-3 on the end of it now, a mile and 2.5. But that's aside from the 26-3, which wasn't super necessary, but I was happy he did it. That's exactly what he needed. 2.5, stress-free. I think that's a nice colt, but he is quite a bit thinner than I'd like to see him. Quite a bit thinner than I'd like to see him. And I think the world of this horse. It is incredibly difficult to put weight on a horse as they begin to race a 2-year-old. That's usually when they start to tuck up a little bit, start to shine up, and turn a little bit, that last little bit of kind of baby fat into muscle. This guy, it's going to be a chore. So it's going to be a lot of work for Dominic and Michelle all summer long to continue to put weight on him. But as I said to the both of them, every time you put weight on him, he's going to go faster. He's that type of horse. And he looked very, very good today in qualifying. Solidarity was awesome too. He also 26-4 on the end of it, a mile, 58-4. He looked very good. James said at no point in the mile did he feel like he was going to make a break. At no point.
That was good.
I said, perfect. He said, well, when's his stake? I said, it doesn't matter when his stake is. I said, it's the end of July in Pennsylvania, but if we don't make Pennsylvania, I don't care. It's the first part of August for the most part, the first part of August in, maybe it might be the end of July in Kentucky too, I'm not sure. But I said, just tell me when he's ready to do the best work he can do. That's all I care about. Steady Volo will qualify next week. He's ready to go right now. Steph's Hope looks very good. That's who he was asking about. If she is maybe one of the LSU eligibles. I can't say that she's ahead of Sarah, but she's knocking on the door and she looks very good. I said, and everybody out there that's been with us for a while will know this. Sweet on Pete is who Steph's Hope reminds me of. Mm-hmm. You don't remember Sweet on Pete, how sore her knees were when we started racing her. Remember we raced her in the Buckeye and I hit her. And I hit her, and I hit her, and I hit her, and then we put her in the Sire Stakes, and she took off and took off and took off. I think she won 5 or 6 races as a 2-year-old, didn't she?
Yeah.
And she was a very, very good 2-year-old. This filly, Steph's Hope, reminds me of her. Sterling Hanover, I wanted to talk to Dante and ask if he trained him today.
We're training them Monday.
Monday? Oh, okay, Monday he's training him. Okay, so we'll see how Sterling Hanover trains on Monday.
We're going to train them together. I don't know how that's
Who's them?
Go. Unless you just want him to go to Mohawk.
Well, I don't really care. Neuromancer will trot. He trained the other day in 2:13, last half and 4 in the jog cart.
You're the only one that's gone with that horse.
Yeah, he's not tricky to drive. You just can't double him up. If you just let him trot forward and don't bother him, you're fine.
Yeah, and then you end up in the gully.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I don't know about the gully. So I would take them to Mohawk. There's no reason not to. Both of them can go there. And both of them, quite frankly, could probably go a mile and 2:10 in the jog cart, no problem. The Neuromancer is going to be try new things and see which works. The shoes he has on, I don't believe are going to be the shoes that he's going to race with. So it's going to be trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. But along the way, he can still trot in 2:10 all day long. You put him in the bike, he'd trot in 2:10, no problem right now. And the other coach should be able to follow also, regardless if he's been off a week and a half or not. That shouldn't be a problem. He's also, who is we? We're going with him. You and Dominic?
No, I said we were going to train them on Monday.
Who's we, though? Are you just using it as a general stable term?
Yes.
Okay.
But I didn't know.
I was
going to do it at the farm.
Yeah.
If you don't want them to go to do it at the farm.
I wouldn't. Well, you could, but I don't think it's going to help them any because the farm this time of year without the rain is going to be deep and like a beach. So I don't think that training them at the farm is going to help. But then
I don't know if we can take them on a Monday.
Oh, you might be right. See, this is the thing. Before the pandemic, you could roll into Mohawk whenever you wanted. Monday at 10, Tuesday at 11. They closed the track at like 12:30, 1 o'clock.
It's open
But
every day.
every day it was open. Now you have to make a schedule and you have to request it, and it's just an insanity. But yeah, I don't think it is open on Monday now that you say that.
I just didn't want them to miss.
Well, they can't miss. They have to go Monday, yes. They should have probably went today, but I know everybody was going to Mohawk, so I'm not too worried about it. Of course, it kicked me out again. What do you mean, Safari's? Yeah, that's better. Fill password. That's why.
You put Neuromancer on the gate when we did the gate training.
Yeah, Neuromancer's
so
never had a
maybe
problem.
we could take them, and maybe they'll have schoolers on Thursday.
I just don't know if Sterling Hanover being off 2 weeks is ready to go behind the gate. That'll be up to James and Dominic. They'll know better than me. I can't speak to that. I haven't gone with them. I know that his gluteral pouches were full and that they needed to give him a week of just jogging. That is now up and he's ready to go. I don't know if I'd school him on Friday. I would just train him at the track. Supermind. If there is a horse closing in on Uncle Danny, it is Supermind. The horse looked very, very good again training the other day. Thoroughly pleased with the way this guy's done his work and the way he's come around. He was awesome the other day. Really pleased with him. Sweet Lake, I don't know if she's in a qualifier or not. She's another one. Do you have to right away? Probably not. But she should be ready sooner than later. She's been in 2-1, 2-2 a couple of times now. Tomboy Strong, we trained the other day in 2-1. The week before, I went a mile in 2 minutes with her. She is ready to rock, and she will qualify. I'd like to see a mile in 58 out of her on Tuesday morning at the Meadows. But again, a lot of the horses qualifying at the Meadows on Tuesday, this will be the first time maybe behind the gate. This will be the first time of doing a lot of things. Is there going to be enough speed? I would rather not cut it out with her. So if I get away third and they get a half and 2, you're not going a mile in 58. You're just going to go where you go. Uncle Danny, same type of thing. This horse ready to rock. This might be one of the best Ohio bred colts, maybe one of the best Ohio breds we've ever had. This horse can absolutely fly. I was cutting it out with Tomboy Strong the other day, and we were rolling coming out of the last turn. He just moved over, and it just was like I was in a jog cart and he was in a bike. He just was gone. The horse is just a very, very nice horse, and I can't wait to race him this summer. Woodmere Bullet's been in 2-4. In PEI, he's ready to go. Smitty said he really, really likes this colt, likes everything about him. He said he just does everything really easy, which is very good. And then Zena Kemp, I won't forget Zena this week. Trained great the other day. She is ready to go. She will qualify on Tuesday. Her first stake race will be June the 23rd in Oak Grove. So you and I have to look at the rest of the month with our calendar and figure out what we're doing and what we can and can't do. But for right now, we are all done. All your videos are done. I'm going to do up a quick little email to everybody, load all the videos, and message Kelly. You may get them tonight on Saturday. You may get them tomorrow morning. But regardless of when you get them, where you're at or what you're doing, I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. Take care.